Well, that's how you fish out a win. You just go out there, score a bunch of runs, and have Jason Alexander on the mound. That was a good game. The Astros have a different type of game tomorrow. But before we get to game 2, we got to talk about game 1.
Jainel Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros. We hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. He is Brett Chancey, and we are the Locked On Astros podcast. Thank you for making us your first listen. We've been doing some type of podcast for about 18 years, and we are glad to become your first listen, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to us. Go ahead and make us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, go and check us out. And Brett, on this podcast, we got a lot to cover. The Astros break a big 3-game losing streak. It is a big losing streak when you're talking about August here. So the Astros break the losing streak, and Jason Alexander, he goes out there and deals, and he makes the case to stay in rotation for now. We'll go and talk about that in a little bit. And also, who's going to be pitching tomorrow? Who's on first base? Oh, sorry, that's the wrong thing. But also, Isak Paredes, he made a pretty interesting decision today. And I know people are kind of talking about it. And did he make the right decision? We'll go and talk about it on the Locked On Astros podcast. But Brett, 8-2. Are you excited about this? Are you excited about the fact that the Astros went out there and it won a ball game?
Well, yeah. I mean, the Marlins are one of the hottest teams in baseball since June 22nd. So they come in here right on the heels of a sweep of the New York Yankees. So they're definitely on fire. You got Jesus Sanchez, who's coming back pretty quickly after the trade deadline, after being traded from the Marlins there in Miami. And so what you wanted Sandy Alcantara to not be on his game, where this dude's got like really good home statistics on the mound, very poor pitching, away from his home ballpark. And tonight he flipped that. And I love this. It ends the losing streak that the Astros were on. Pretty much everybody in the clubhouse gets involved, from Carlos Correa to Jesus Sanchez. And so it was fun to see the Astros hit in certain situations, situational hitting, moving runners over, 2 outs, just taking advantage of opportunities that they had not been doing lately. So is this a trend? I don't know. Can we say Jason Alexander saved the season? I don't know. But the Houston Astros did what they needed to do from beginning to end to get it done, to beat a very hot Marlins team. You're on mute, buddy. There you go.
I know a lot of people would say, well, the Astros almost got no hit for the first 3 innings and maybe they're done for or something. But if you look at the first 3 innings, they had a whole lot of bad luck. You had a lot of, I know Jeremy Pena's fly out, that was 102 miles per hour off the bat. And then you had a couple 90s. And then in the second inning, you had pretty much about the same thing. So the Astros were getting some pretty good contact. Christian Walker had 109.4 lineouts in the second inning. So They were seeing him pretty well.
They're hitting the ball. Yeah.
So, and then even once they started scoring in the 4th inning, that's when they really started making some hard contact. But you could tell that the Astros were starting to see the ball a little bit better in this game, just hitting to some bad luck to start the game. But I was like, okay, this is what we wanted to see. Hard hits, like high exit velocity, and just the way that it seemed like the Marlins defense was finding every ball, but that wasn't the case. This Marlins team, they're a reason why they're not a good baseball team. And we saw a lot of that, whether it's base running. I know we always have the Jose Altuve, should I have run past that base, or should I have got caught stealing? We always have that. But it just seems like the Marlins just are not a very smart baseball team at this time. but the Astros took advantage of it and they took care of business. And like you said, somebody said in the chat, everyone in starting lineup either had a hit or RBI in this game. And so it was up and down the lineup. And once these guys get comfortable and you get some of these other guys back, like Jordan Alvarez, who's heading down to Florida to get some action. And so once you get these guys back and hitting healthy and more confident, I think this team is going to be fine. That's why I wasn't freaking out yesterday, Brett. I know you weren't.
Yeah, no. I mean, look, it's a long season, right? But I know you mentioned that the Marlins are not a very good team, but they had climbed all the way back to 500. They were 6 games under 500. So whether they're a good baseball team or not, they had been getting the job done. And
they had one of the best records in the past 30 days, I believe.
That's right. Yeah. Since June 22nd, they've been one of the best teams in baseball. The Houston Astros, like I said, when they came in here, I was like, oh, great. We're playing the Marlins when they're hot. Like I can just see the way things have been going lately, but they did what they needed to do. Everybody, like you just mentioned, everybody contributed. You had RBIs from just about every player on the team. You had 11 hits. You had 8 runs. You had multiple innings where you scored, and that's what you want out of your ball club. You need your guys in there when they're in the box. You need them making a difference. Pena was 2 for 4 today, had a multi-hit game along with Yainer Diaz and Cam Smith. Cam Smith's been in a bit of an offensive lull. And Jacob Wilson, who's the leader in hits for rookies, is out with an arm injury. So he got 2 hits closer to him for the leader in hits for rookies. That may bode well in the end for Cam Smith's Rookie of the Year candidacy. So if he gets hot and Yainer gets hot and Pena gets hot, I mean, we got Sanchez, we got Correa, and shoot, when you got those guys doing it and Dubon's contributing, I mean, you can't argue about that.
Well, just think about, Brett, how deep this lineup is right now, even without a few people, where Cam Smith, a guy that has been super hot, well, not hot recently, but has been one of your more consistent hitters over the past 2-3 months, but he's hitting 9th. And so when you have somebody hitting 9th like Cam Smith, I know the only one that really didn't get hit in today's game was Taylor Trammell, but overall he's been carrying the Astros offense for a little bit of this time. He had 3 strikeouts in the game, but Yainer Diaz went out there and got some big hits. So it just seems like when everybody's going, the Astros seem to get wins. And so I'm not worried about the offense. It wasn't looking good against the Red Sox. I don't know if it was playing against Alex Bregman, Carlos Correa coming back, or just those stupid, ugly uniforms that blend into the backdrop, the green uniforms, or then the yellow and purple, whatever color that was.
No, yellow and blue, purple,
yellow and blue, whatever. I'm colorblind.
Yeah, yellow and blue.
Say.
I kind of like their uniforms. I like their City Connects. I almost went out and got a Bregman Fenway Park green monster. I'm not lying. Like, I thought it was that good looking of a jersey. I actually like them. But that's me. Different strokes for different folks. So
yeah. So the Astros overall, they had a great offensive game, and I kind of joked around. I know somebody on X got it, and basically they said, like the title, I put Astros shocker, offensive explosion en route of the Marlins, and this was a explosion because the Astros scored 1-3, then 1 again.
5 runs have been in 3 games.
Yeah. Runs have been hard to come upon, but he got my sarcasm there, and he basically said this was basically just an analogy for all the fans that jump ship, and all of a sudden Astros fans again. It's okay. You can't worry about game to game, series by series. Sometimes baseball is just going baseball, and that's what's going on here. But Brett, who would have thought Jason Alexander, yada, 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 would just go out there, do what he did today? Has he earned some more time with the Houston Astros? We'll go ahead and discuss this on the Locked On Astros podcast.
All right, everybody, this is HM Wheelhouse, and I'm here to tell you about 5 Hour Energy. This is a great sponsor for Locked On. 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. It brings a bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor to your favorite sports drink, minus the alcohol, into a quick, energizing shot. Whether you're sinking birdies or just making memories with friends, this one's a hole-in-one for your energy game. And let's be honest, some days on the course are off. You just need that extra boost. I mean, we started back with our back to school routine, and I'm already feeling tired, and it's only been one day. But that's okay. It doesn't matter because that 5 Hour Energy Transfusion is going to come in handy. Again, golfing brings good times and good people. Why not enjoy it with good flavors? The grape, ginger, lime flavor gives you that best parts of the clubhouse to go to without chasing down the beverage cart. So if you go to 5hourenergy.com today, that's the number 5hourenergy.com. You can use the promo code Locked On Golf to receive 20% off your order. This order is only valid through September 30th on one order and cannot be used on other promotions, and the code cannot be used with subscription orders. But go get 5 Hour Energy today.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to us. Go and make us first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, go and check us out. So I know pitching is a premium right now, especially if you're on the Houston Astros. Tomorrow, we just had breaking news. We knew that Spencer Arrighetti was going to be pitching one of these games, but apparently Spencer Arrighetti is going to pitch on Wednesday, meaning it's going to be a bullpen game on Tuesday. And it's been a while since the Astros had a bullpen game. And Joe Espada, after the game, said he doesn't know who's going to start the bullpen game. But I was talking to Brett before the show, and I'm like, you know what? They brought on John Rooney. Why not have him make his major league debut? He's 28 years old. He's been primarily a reliever with the Marlins in the minor league system, but he has started in the past. So why don't you go ahead? This is his big debut at where he was supposed to make his debut,
Right.
at whatever you call that, Lone Depot Park. So why don't you give him the chance to just kind of build up for it, give him the start, tell him ahead of time so he can get all amped up for it, and just go ahead and say, hey, go out there, give me 2 innings. You got this.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know too much about Rooney, so we're just going to let his start speak for itself. Basically like you and I talked about him being an opener. But Jason Alexander, Eric, what an amazing game today. 6 shutout innings, 6 strikeouts, 1 walk. At one point, didn't give up any hits. He only gave up 3 hits in the game today. And to get out of a bases loaded jam when he left the game and for him to show the emotion that he did was absolutely phenomenal, and I love to see it. Of course, Brian King comes in shortly after that, and gives up 2 solo pinch hit home runs, and, does they get damage done there? But Abreu comes in, pretty clean inning. He does have 1 walk, and then Neris comes in for 1 inning, gets 2 Ks, and he cleans it up. And lately, he hasn't been great. And although the Marlins aren't exactly the offensive juggernaut like we mentioned in the show throughout, they are hot and they have been on the heater. They got Kyle Stowers. They've got guys, despite losing Sanchez, they've got an offense that can produce the run. So Jason Alexander, I think, to answer your question, he has earned more time. But also we know that guys like him are going to be taking a back seat to the Arrighettis and the Javiers and the Garcias when they return. It's just who's going to stay up when they get here and who will last, regardless of if they stay in a starting role or go to the bullpen. They're cementing their place as solid options for the Houston Astros, even in a playoff run. Maybe someone like Jason Alexander doesn't make a start in a playoff game, but maybe he comes in instead of a Brian King and comes in and logs some key relief innings.
Well, I'm just looking at all of Jason Alexander's pitch velocity. I think his hardest pitch he threw today was 92.5 miles per hour. he doesn't live and die by, I guess 92.8 I see right here, but doesn't rely on velocity. What I saw today was a lot of movement. Like it moved in on the hitters, it jammed the hitters, it missed the hitters' bats, and I love that movement. He had the sinker was going, the changeup was moving. He had a good rotation on it, and it just seemed like it was just. Yes, they were making some hard contact at the beginning, but overall, he seemed like he was under control. I know the sweeper was what they were having a little issue with, but the spin rate was pretty high on the sweeper. When he did throw it, it was in the 2600s. But overall, it just seemed like he was like the Marlins just didn't have an answer. And then when they did, they just kind of had some issues like capitalizing with that. But overall, Jason Alexander, I don't know if he's a long-term answer for the Astros, but he is the answer for right now. No. Like we talked about, Christian Javier is maybe one more start away. Maybe Luis Garcia is maybe 2 starts away. JP France 2 starts away. So it's going to be some time before we see a couple of those guys, but we'll see.
No, and none of these guys, I mean, they weren't signed as long-term answers. They were signed as necessities. They were signed as, in the moment, we are down and we've got injuries, and who's gonna step up? And Jose Altuve's talked about it. Other players have talked about it. Whenever players come into this clubhouse, no matter where they've been, they fit in. Jeremy Pena talked about it. I saw right before the game where he's just like, look, when you come in here and you're new, you just fit in. That's just how this clubhouse is. And so they're continuing to do a great job of having people come in the lineup, whether it's in the rotation, in the bullpen, or in the box, and do the job they need to do. So this Astros team, if they can get out of their slumping, sliding backwards ways, then they can keep command as long as they pace themselves in front. And like I said before, if they can get to at least a 6-game division lead, I think if they can find themselves back to that type of lead, then once they get there, I don't think they look back.
Yeah, for sure. I know that I haven't seen this officially, but Chandler Rome is mentioning blue ball is a possible option. So he's saying that they may do a matchup thing where they're going to start off with a lefty reliever. Rooney is a perfect example, but then maybe go to blue ball. So I don't know if they've called.
Well, blue ball is on the taxi squad right now.
Okay, so he may be that. So if they go ahead and take him off the taxi roster, then go ahead and send down Nick Hernandez, who's basically just a player. They can go ahead and have AJ Blue Ball up here to maybe be the bulk guy until you get to the back end of the bullpen, or maybe some other guys. But what Chandler Rome is doing, because by the way, Chandler Rome is getting very salty to a lot of the people on X. I don't know if you're seeing that, but
I've seen that. Yeah, he's kind of letting people get under his skin, which is not. I don't know.
It's
kind
fine.
of plays the eel.
Yeah, but he's saying that it's probably going to be matchup related. So if there's a bunch of lefties coming up, they may go to a left-hander. So it just depends on the situation. But if they do activate blue ball, then they're going to go ahead and have him be the bulk guy and see what happens there. But I'm guessing that Nick Hernandez is going to be sent down to activate blue ball. Then that's the situation.
Nick Hernandez, that guy's got no staying power, man. Like, look, I don't know. I don't understand his purpose on this team. I mean, the guy just doesn't get enough. He's not in enough to really.
The Astros don't have any options. That's why I think they're probably going to go get Ryan Presley, just because they have no other choice.
I know.
Nick Hernandez, Ryan Presley.
Have you seen Ryan Presley got DFA'd by the Cubs? Nick Hernandez is still on the roster. I mean,
there's a lot of people on the Astros roster that probably shouldn't be on the Astros roster.
Ryan Presley left here disgruntled, okay?
There's a pitcher that has never made his MLB debut that the Marlins traded to the Astros because the Astros are so desperate for pitchers. And he's probably going to start tomorrow's game as a opener. Let's just say that. Okay.
There you go. There you go.
All right. So, guys, we're going to go ahead next. We're going to go and talk about Isak Paredes. What's going on with his recovery, rehab, surgery? What's going on with him? We'll go and talk about that next on the Locked On Astros podcast.
All right, everybody. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Summer sports are in full swing, and whether you're into baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. You know you like some good Houston Dynamo footy out there. You know you like to watch, whether it's the Live Golf Tour or PGA. It doesn't matter. Get in the action and make it more thrilling and fun when you go with FanDuel. While your friends are getting sunburned at the beach, you can be there making lots of great moves. That's right. And with daily new promotions, it doesn't matter because you can place same game parlays. You can watch a bet right into the ninth inning, and they make it feel like you are in the action. New to FanDuel? Well, that's fine because new customers, when you bet $5, get $150 bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe to us. Go and make us first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and check us out. Go and check out Michael Connor with the Locked On Astros podcast as well. Yes, Brent.
So, Eric, I want to mention this. So, iChurch Cafe has been following us for a while. I know there for a while. They were actually located overseas. They were in, I believe, Yugoslavia. Apparently, they're back. Okay. And this is what they said. Thank you, Houston Astros, for saving my life during the floods in Kerrville. Had I not watched the rebroadcast of the game, I would have been swept away with my house. Astros and Jesus, he says. And then he said this, because I asked him for further comment. He said, I live 3 houses down from the dam in Kerrville. I watched the rebroadcast on the internet that night across the street because of the hard rain. I spent the night there. My house was gone. So, hey, you know what, iChurch? We are glad you are okay. We know it was a tragedy where a lot of people lost their lives. I'm sorry, Ukraine, not Yugoslavia. I don't know why I said Yugoslavia. But, yes, they were based in Ukraine. But I just wanted to mention that. So, yeah, man, I mean, we still got a lot of people recovering from those horrible, horrific, disasters there in Central Texas. I wanted that to be something we mentioned.
Yes. So on this segment, we do need to talk about a tragedy that's happened a little bit with Isak Paredes. I know that it was, it's been kind of clarified, like it's been thrown, the word torn hamstring or has been thrown around by Bob Nightingale. But today, Dana Brown went on the radio and basically said that it's a severely strained hamstring and that they're going to try to avoid surgery because it's going to be about 6 months of recovery from a surgery, maybe even as long as 8 months. But what they did today was they did a
Okay, I got it right here. They did a PRP injection on his right hamstring. And so they're going to attempt to rehab and return this season versus having surgery and being out for 6 months. Okay. And so my thoughts initially was, I thought I heard it was a tear. Well, a sprain and a tear, medically speaking, are the same thing. And someone that is actually a licensed orthopedic physical therapist did say this: a rupture, as one thinks of a common injury of an Achilles rupture, is when the muscle separates from the bone and must be surgically attached. The fact that a PRP injection is an option indicates it was, in fact, not ruptured. So, from what we know, all right? So, that's a good thing. And they basically take your own stem cells, your own blood, and inject it back into your body. And that is what helps repair. So there was that option versus surgery. And the fact that he's doing that tells me a couple things. Number one, Isak Paredes doesn't want his job taken. Okay. Number two, he's got that dog in him. He knows he was the RBI and home run leader when he left. And when he comes back, Isak at second, Pena at short, Correa at third. And then you've got this Gold Glover waiting on the bench to come in the game and get a couple games here and there. I mean, Ramos is a Gold Glove guy. I mean, you're going to have a jam if he comes back.
And I'm going to go ahead and disagree with that. Here's my logic. If you have somebody coming back from a hamstring strain, you probably don't want him playing a lot of defense. So you might have him DH a lot and have Altuve play second base. And I know that he can possibly be a better defender at second base than Altuve, but if you're going to rush him back, maybe, but like we're talking about the playoffs. I doubt he's going to play a lot during the season because it's still,
that's true.
He just had the shot right now. They're going to let him rest for a couple weeks, and then they're going to just see if they can rehab from there, see if they can strengthen the hamstring, the leg, the muscles, everything in the legs to get him in game shape. And then at that point, they'll decide if they can get him ready for a possible postseason. I don't foresee him playing a lot of defense. That's just me.
Well, that's true. But I'm just saying, if he comes back and if they play him, he's not going to be playing third because Correa is there. Was my main point.
Yeah, and it just depends. Like maybe next year, Correa could move to second. He may be like, you know what, I won't welcome this challenge. I can do third base. Let me go try second base now. So who knows what Carlos Correa's mindset can be. He's always been, I want to be the shortstop. I'm this alpha male, but maybe with the fact that he's accepted this fact that, hey, I'm okay playing third base. Maybe he'll be okay playing second base. So I think this is up to Joe Espada in the offseason. Right now, it's all about getting Isak Paredes healthy. And if they feel like him not having the surgery, rehabbing, even if it's not for the postseason this year and for him to be ready for next year, that's great. But my concern is this going to linger? If they don't have the surgery now and maybe he goes and plays in the playoffs and hurts it worse, or B, they don't have the surgery and they try to do the rehab and it just continues to linger like a certain other player that we've had hand issues with this year. So so you get what I'm trying to say.
I know. Well, no, I mean, you just have to go back to a former Astro that had hamstring and soft tissue injuries and now looks pregnant. Right. You just don't want them to. My first thought when I heard that he was not having surgery, he was going to get the injection, I was like, okay, like this just seems like it's going to end badly. Now, Yordan Alvarez, like we mentioned, if you pay attention to social media, top of the show, we talked about it. Yordan Alvarez heading to Florida to swing the bat, and hopefully he doesn't have any setbacks. Can you imagine having Alvarez and Sanchez in the same lineup, both hitting the ball really well? Everybody else seems to start catching the hitting bug, and they did hit nothing but doubles and singles tonight. But you know what they also did? They got guys home. Situational hitting. They bunted. They moved runners over. They scored the guys on base. So I don't care if you get 12 hits and there's not a single home run, but if you have RBIs and you have runners coming home from hits, that's a recipe for success.
I think like I said, the Red Sox had something to prove in that series. It wasn't just about facing the Astros. It wasn't just about Alex Bregman facing the Astros, but it was just about some reason they just played on a whole different level. And maybe it was just trying to top the Yankees or the Rays or whoever it is. It's the Rays. No, not the Rays. It's the Blue Jays. There's so many teams that are good in the AL East. It's crazy. But speaking of the Yankees, I don't know if you saw this, but they're actually going to have their first City Connect jerseys. I haven't seen it yet, but I just saw that mentioned.
And Mike Stanton's going to be in the Bronx this weekend. They're celebrating the 25th anniversary of the 2000 Yankees championship team, and he's a part of that what they call Old Timers Day. And I think they actually play a game this year, but I think they're playing with softball. I don't think they're doing baseball anymore. But yeah, man. The Yankees, speaking of them, they just got swept, and with this game, we are just that much closer to the Blue Jays and the Tigers. Right now you got the Yankees beating the Rangers 5-4. That's good for the Astros. The Mariners have the day off, so they'll gain a half game on the Mariners, with this win, and they can even gain even more ground, another half game, because they got a half game on the Mariners. So you can be 3 games up on the Mariners, and I think 5.5 up on the Rangers if they lose tonight.
Yes. So looking ahead at tomorrow's game, it's going to be, we don't know, TBD. It's probably going to be, my guess would be John Rooney or some left-handed pitcher, just to upset Brett. I'm sure they're going to put Brian Keane out there versus Cal.
Well, he's been terrible the last 3 outings. So Brian King has not lately. He has not been good. So
I know. Like I said, I think that John Rooney's the guy, just because they can give him enough notice to say, hey, go out there, kid, this is your MLB debut. Just go ahead and go out there, pitch 1 inning, and then we'll turn it over to AJ Blueball and see what happens from there. But the Astros just need to do what they did today, play clean baseball, get some hits, pitch good as you can, with probably 6 to 7 pitchers going tomorrow. So that's the winning formula for tomorrow's game.
Yeah, definitely. This has been a great show. Thank you all for tuning in. The Houston Astros win game 1 in Miami. Hopefully they win the next 2 and get on a win streak of their own. Then an off day and on to the Bronx.
Guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead, subscribe to us. Go ahead and make us first listen, Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, and we will see you tomorrow.
Go Stros. That's a wrap.